All right. Well, because we're kind of doing like a tabletop discussion, we've got to like really get into the microphones so everybody could hear us. This is gonna be radio, Lemonade Radio. Welcome to Lemonade Radio. Well, welcome everybody to Content. I've got an amazing group of people here that we are going to talk about content, digital assets, how you can leverage AI to help your brand build to an influencer level online presence. We're going to talk about that. I've got some amazing people. You've already met Lawrence. Lawrence is going to chill with us. We're going to have a great discussion about this, but I also want to turn time over to awesome Andrea, who is joining me here. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Andrea Merrill, and I own Virtually Adventurous, and I'm super excited to be here.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you do, what your focus is, and how I actually just asked her like yesterday. I was like, hey, do you want to join? She's like, yes. But no, go ahead and
Yes.
please tell us what you're all about.
Yeah, I'm a speaker monetization strategist and coach, and essentially, I help speakers make money from stage. I help them create sticky audiences that keep them coming around long after their talk. And you are a speaker. Lawyers are lots of speakers, right? You're talking to your clients, you're out there, you're in court, you're in front of them, and it's time to build that audience and build the audience online and having that digital presence that sticks with you long after you're done talking to them.
Absolutely. So, um, Clara, camera to me, love it. That is my daughter, my oldest, who is actually, you know, behind the scenes, behind the camera right now, and she's awesome. Great member of the Vibe team. As you know, I'm founder filmmaker at Vibe Media, where we build content and build your presence, online presence online using content strategy to really kind of up to building your brand to help you reach those business goals of whatever that may be, whether it's recruiting, whether it's new business, or even just brand recognition. So let's talk about content. So content, and let's start first with digital assets. What is a digital asset? So Lawrence, what do you think is a digital asset that businesses need to have?
I mean, a digital asset can span all sorts of things from internal documents that you've had that are one pagers,
Hmm.
digital assets that you're able to quickly access to be able to, quick white papers over various things, to video clips, to, a little bitty sound bites that you have, etc. Anything that could be used electronically, I would say. Maybe not hard paper or anything like that, but electronically that you can use to help share whatever it is that you are trying to talk about or promote.
Exactly. So digital assets are assets that you use digitally to be able to build that brand story, right? So Andrea, tell me some more about brand story because I know you love talking about
Oh
this.
my gosh, brand story is so important. We need to story tell. We're in a different era when it comes to content and monetization, and being able to story tell and taking people down a journey is so important when it comes to getting them in the door. We need to be able to share, we can even story tell on our website. We can story tell throughout video content. We can story tell through our emails. And storytelling means that like I said, we're taking them down that journey and their path. And we're doing it in such an elegant way and such a fun way because nobody likes to be sold to. Let's be
Hmm.
honest. You don't
Right.
want to be sold to. You want a beautiful story or a fun story, right? Like you're all about fun stories and bringing them out and guiding them through.
Absolutely. So, how do we? I loved how you mentioned websites because some of the digital assets that law firms should prioritize is websites, blogs, social media profiles, video content, email campaigns. I mean, the list goes on, but I want to talk about websites especially. And I'm going to say this: if your website in 2024 is not mobile friendly, what are you doing? Over 70% of all visitors on websites now are through our mobile devices. Make sure that as you are going through all of your digital assets, start with your website first and make sure that it's optimized to the maximum amount of individuals who are visiting your site. You want to be able to get it out there. People are visiting stuff all the time. What are you doing? So mobile friendly websites, modern websites as well. The whole name of the game and the algorithms and the trends change constantly, especially in the digital world. And you want to have a platform for people to get to your digital front door, and you make it look pretty. Like, even just think about like your houses, right? If you're driving along and you're trying to search for a house, and if you see that the landscaping and the front entryway is kind of old or dated, etc., it just looks like it's not well kept up with, and people just kind of move on. I'm sorry, you can blame it on the millennials and Gen Zs all you want, but I tell you, we are the ones who are shopping now, and we are very visual learners. Am I right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
We are definitely visual learners. So if I go to a website, you guys could be the greatest lawyers or law firm in the world in whatever area of practice that you are. But if I go to your website and it is not updated, it's not visually appealing, more often than not, we've seen the studies that people just kind of move on. They spend about 15 to 20 30 seconds on your website to give a first impression. And first impressions do matter, especially on the digital front door. So start with your website. If you haven't updated it in over 5 years, I would suggest to definitely take a look at that for 2025 and budget out for that. Make sure that you have a platform for people to come to. Your blogs, your social media. Also, get on social media. Get on LinkedIn. Get on any other social media sites that you need to. So actually, Lawrence, you guys actually pretty do kill it on social media at SurePoint. So can you tell me and share some examples on how some digital assets have benefited your business?
I mean, we have our marketing team is fantastic with making sure that we're really out there on the social media front. And, whether it's, the different channels that you have or whatever, just making sure that you're regularly publishing content for whatever your goal may be. It could be to get new business. It could be to promote a testimonial from an experience that you've had, an event that you have coming up that you want to help with business development, things like that. Being able to make sure that you help create those stories, push them out there to the marketplace and the various different channels, and being able to have those shared, commented, liked, etc., can really expand the number of people that see your message and help achieve the goals that you're setting out to achieve for your organization.
Right. And so, Andrea, tell me about some of the importance to optimize your SEO and in your website as you're kind of building that platform.
I love SEO, guys. Like, it is my jam. It is search engine optimization. It's how you get found on Google. And you have 5 milliseconds actually on your website to make an impression. And that's how quickly it matters. So we need to ensure that you are optimized and making sure that your loading speed is super fast, because if it doesn't load really fast, people will leave. So we need to ensure that you are optimizing your images. So if you don't know, you're able to find them through SEO. So that's looking on Google, you head on over to images, they come up right away. I look there all the time. So what you can use as a great tool is tinypng.com. It's completely free to use, or you can pay if you use it very often, but optimize those and make sure that you are naming them correctly. Because if you're leaving them as JPEG 24/7 254, nobody's going to be able to find you. So we need to optimize those images. And then also, content matters on your website. Most people feel like they don't want to add a lot of words to their website. They're like, who's reading it? Who's going to actually read my website? Well, it's not just about the consumer reading the website, it's also about Google reading your website. So you need to ensure that you have over 1,500 words a page. So, yes, this is a lot more words than you typically would have, but remember, you never know when you're going to hook somebody on your website, and having more words and storytelling through your website is going to help through search engine optimization. I also want to share that you don't want to do keyword stuffing. And what keyword stuffing is adding a long string of words that are really matter to you. And you're like, let me add all of these words together and hopefully I will get found. Well, when you do that, Google will ding you. So ensure that you're writing for your consumer. And when you story tell and you are writing for your consumer, you're going to write in a more natural way and you won't come into that issue around keyword stuffing.
Absolutely. So, law firms, your blog space is going to be the best platform to be able to get your SEO up. Utilize it immensely. I mean, you have a lot of you already utilize your blog space in a tremendous way. I've gone to so many law firms already. We've worked with several all over the country, and the blog space is usually the number one area where people gather all of that information. But also, you want to make sure that you optimize your bio pages on your website for each of your attorneys, because over 80% of all visitors of any law firm website is going to the bio pages. Because why do you think? People want to know who they might be hiring, right? They want to know who they are. So optimizing those pages as well with great, I'd say, stock images. When I say stock images, I mean your own internal stock images. Create a library of amazing optimized, images for your firm that goes on the website. Let's push some imagery into your pages on your bio pages, and then also video. Of course, the video guy is going to talk about video. So let's talk about video content. Okay, video content is king. You have to understand now, in the development of the internet over the last several decades, that the current state of the internet now is not just websites, but now it's social media. Social media is the current state of the internet. That is how people interact, how we engage, how we gather information. Even some people shop on TikTok, for crying out loud. I mean, people are watching TikTok to see, hey, I'm in a brand new city of, in Nebraska. What's a good place to eat? They go to TikTok to find out what it is. They see what people are talking about of what's great around that area. You can find menus, you can find stores, etc. I'm not saying that you may have to have a presence on TikTok. That is going to have to be up to you. But ultimately, you want to have social media in your toolkit coming in 2025 and beyond. And video is the biggest driver of that. So, video. Let's talk. Lawrence, how have you guys utilized video with SurePoint over the years? I know we just recently did a video with you a couple months ago about one of your announcements of an acquisition. So kind of take us through that process and how that has helped you guys in the long run since then.
I mean, video is one of the best ways, I think, to help capture a special moment or an announcement like we did with Vibe Media recently, who's fantastic, by the way. And our national conferences that we have, getting people that can capture that moment that we all spent together, whether it was on the dance floor or it was a speech that was given, to any of those other types of situations, and being able to have that not just for for your own benefit, but you can then share it and continue to share it. And one of the things that I always like to say too is that video, particularly, is something that, a year or two later you can repurpose. All of those types of things can be repurposed, and you can continue to take little sound bites out of it or clips and continue to utilize it for messaging for years to come. And I think it's one of the best ways. And it's one of the most relatable things, I think, too, than just a text post. Being able to add some sort of an image or a video can really enhance, I think, the viewers that you're going to get on a specific post as well.
Yeah, and we call that creating content and being able to repurpose. We call that evergreen content, right? So it's, if you think of like the forest, right? And you see those evergreen trees, they have been around for tons and tons of years. They're massive and beautiful, amazing trees. And there's a lot of evergreen content that you can create that can last a long time. It's not something that always has to be updated per se. For a lot of firms, you're going to look into your Q&As. The questions that you get all the time with that attorneys get every single day. Let's say with like family law or with elder care law, a lot of people probably want to know what's a proprietor, what is this, what is that. Creating content around that you can repurpose again and again and again, over and over and over, is just absolutely key, and it's really neat. So let's talk about mostly the role of storytelling in video. I mean, content is king nowadays, but we've talked a little bit about story. So Andrea, you are a great storyteller when it comes to your content. So kind of take us through the process of how we can kind of look at our brand and what kind of story we want to tell through content.
Yeah, I think it's really important to understand your mission, vision, and values. When you come back to that, your core why of why you decided to become a lawyer, I think is really important. We oftentimes forget about our why and where we got started, but we always have to remember that it's a journey that we've been on. And that's one that I constantly bring into my storytelling. And what I love to do is bring out my vulnerability. And I think it's really important to remember that we have to be vulnerable, especially if we're wanting our clients to be vulnerable with us. And we can guide them down that path. And of course, we're leaders in this. When they're seeing you do this, they're going to follow along with you. They're going to feel more comfortable. And the whole point of video I see in the storytelling around content is, how can I make myself feel like a human? Like that human to human connection is so important. And we oftentimes forget about that because we're behind the camera. We're behind working on all of your paperwork that you have. I know that you've got tons of it. So it's easy to forget about those people that are watching you. But remember to go back to that why, go back to that mission, vision, and values, and bring that into your storytelling. I recently posted a video where I was very upfront and honest about my past and how I had started my business. And I have had so many people reach out to me. Not only that is I gained 5 new clients by that one post that I put up. And it was all by storytelling through video. And I took them on a guided journey. I was vulnerable. And there's lots of psychology in that as well. They just want to know that there's a human behind the brand. And anytime that you can bring your humanization to it, they're going to feel more deeply connected to you. And you're going to have a better client experience with them, as well as you feeling more comfortable. And you're already showing your authority and credibility through video. Let's not forget about that as well.
Well, right, because when you're vulnerable and you really express that out, and you really get a lot of times when you get really raw, not so raw to get too deep, but for like your law firms, it creates a sense of that authenticity, and it builds trust. It builds a sense of trust that, hey, I understand who you are. I understand what you can do for me as a client. Okay, I feel comfortable with you. I mean, we have seen this success with many law firms across the nation. We even have one here in Arizona. She is in elder care law, where she did a slew of videos where it talked about everything that she can do, answered all the questions, and it helped create her as a trusted resource in that community. And she built her own business through that. Within 6 months or 6 to 18 months, she gained about, 7 or 8 new clients because of the videos that she pumped out. So your digital assets are huge and key. Now, I know law firms, you guys love numbers. So I'm going to give you a couple of numbers here. So this comes from the Content Marketing Institute. Every single year, these are the top people in all the world when it comes to content marketing, when it comes to marketing in general. They send out this survey, and part of the survey talks a lot about video. And the results are this: 76% of all marketers from all industries say that video content and video for their business has done more for their business than any other form or piece of content than in the past. 76% of all marketers have said that. 88% of those 76 feel like that they're not doing enough. They feel like, yes, it's great, but I feel like we could probably do more. And because it's working. Having a clear set strategy for their content is able to funnel that into a very focused area to be able to accomplish those goals, those mission that they are set out to do. So they're looking to do more in the coming years. Take a look, if you guys have dabbled in video, or if you've even looked at it, I would strongly suggest to just take a look at your marketing budgets and see what you can do and get started. I mean, the best time to start video was 5-10 years ago. The second best time is now, because what's coming next in terms of marketing and the evolution of the online arena is so vast that if you haven't incorporated video now, or even any of these other digital assets that we've talked about today, updating your websites, your blog spaces, you're going to be left in the dust and you're going to be lost and you fall through the cracks. That's not just me saying it. That's just what every marketer out there is saying right now. Because we're not going to get into talking about metaverse today, but metaverse is coming, and it's going to be 10 times crazier than anything else that we've done. But look into video. I know that when it comes to law firms, it's very hard to see what you can do in terms of video. And why is that? Lawyers, sometimes they just don't get it. Lawyers are very left-minded thinkers. I'm not going to lie. They are very analytic. They have to be. They have to be very strict with their thinking and very structured. Totally get that. It's very hard to kind of think very creatively, because video content, sometimes you have to be very creative to tell your story, especially when it comes to storytelling. So I'm going to ask this question, and you guys can flip a coin who wants to answer this. But what types of content do you think would resonate most with an audience in the legal world? I know, heavy question.
I think it would depend. Depending on maybe your practice of law that your firm does or whatever, I think, really honing into some of the wins that you've had or some really success stories and being able to promote that is awesome. I think anything that you do in the community, especially, is also helpful. Being able to show that, you're not just there to service the clients, but the broader community. I think all that is great goodwill and brings business to the firm overall. Talking about some of this video stuff, I was in a law firm about a month ago in Texas, and as I'm sitting in the waiting room waiting to meet with the CFO, they had literally on their TV a video that had been recorded of their attorneys introducing themselves, talking about the practice. And that's the first time I've ever seen that actually in a law firm. And I thought that that was fantastic. And, I think anything that you can do like that, I think, we are always on our phones nowadays, right?
Yes.
And
Yep.
you see
Yeah.
people just constantly watching video after video just play and play. Like you're not even selecting these videos; they're just coming up, right?
Oh yeah.
So,
I honestly, we see in the grid, half of you people are already on your phones, probably looking up some of the things that we're saying.
Yeah.
So again, everybody's on their phones. Absolutely.
yeah, it's true. So I mean, I just think video content is, as you said, it started years ago. But I mean, if you're not doing it, starting is the best thing to do. I mean, it's the best way to tell a story, capture a moment, and be able to continue to use it over and over as you move into the future.
Right. And it keeps you top of mind. We've talked about everybody's online. Everybody is looking to see what you are doing, whether it's as a firm in general or even individuals as legal professionals, as lawyers. You want to be able to optimize your social media presence to be able to really kind of get it going. I mean, according to Google, the behemoth as they are, over 80, almost to 90% of all content that is shared online is video. YouTube is the number 2 biggest search engine, largest search engine of all the internet. So if you've got video and you have a platform on YouTube or others to be able to share that content, whether it's a moment, whether it's any type of education or evergreen content, you want to look into that. You want to create a strategy to do that. So there's 4 things that you really need to understand for a content strategy. You want to know your audience. Who's your audience? Who are you talking to? Who's your clients? Number 2, what's your goals? What are the things that I call it the next chapter? What's the next chapter in your firm? What's the next chapter in your career? What's the next chapter in your business? What are you striving to get to? And number 3, what are those obstacles that are kind of getting in the way? How can, what are some of the challenges that we are facing? What are the challenges that our clients are facing? Once we understand those 3 things, then we can formulate a strategy behind that and say, okay, if we start creating some video content around this area to help people get over these challenges, it will help us reach our goals. And you have to define what those goals are. Now, I said 4. The 4th one is you definitely have to just look at your budget. It kind of always goes back to that. Now, incorporating video into your marketing culture, like really integrating it into your marketing culture, is inexpensive and highly and very highly effective in the long term. You got to understand that it's a long-term strategy. It's not something like, okay, I'm going to do a video and see how it works. It's a long-term strategy for that. So so how can you create content? Well, let's talk a little bit about about AI. How can you utilize AI to help you create content and develop this strategy?
Yeah, I love AI. AI is absolutely amazing. If you're not using it, it's time to use it. AI is we're going to be using this for years to come, and it's only going to get more powerful. So getting on the bandwagon now is the best opportunity for you. Also, as you finesse and use AI, it learns about your brand. The whole point is we want it to be a tool that becomes an assistant for us, where we're able to put in our brand voice. We're able to put in who our ideal audience is. We're able to put in all this information, and it captures it all. And then what's the best part is all you have to do is use the same for you, create a content schedule for you, and you will be able to build out this an amazing content schedule that is powerful and brings in your clientele, where then you can mirror that with your videos, which is so powerful.
Yes.
And if you don't know what to post for videos, let's say you're using your phone, but what you're able to do is I use Beastcam, love Beastcam because I always have my phone with me. And I'm even this morning getting ready for coming to speak here today. I am recording behind the scenes. I'm recording everything that I need to do to preparation, to get ready, to on the way here, to the entrance, to coming in. So if you do not have that creative mind that that we were talking about, then use AI. Ask it, what do I need to be doing in my law firm to create curiosity? How can I be creative? What behind the scenes action shots should I be using? So use AI to leverage and pivot you forward. We want things that propel us, and AI is going to propel you. And it all comes down to also using prompts. So you all are very, very smart, brilliant lawyers in here, and creating prompts, I feel like should be pretty easy for these lawyers. What do you
Oh,
think?
yeah. I mean, you guys understand the business of law. You guys understand your practice areas really, really well and very in depth. A lot more than I fully understand. And by doing that, and you have to understand the prompts. And so some of the prompts that you definitely want to start with is thinking something like, okay, ChatGPT or Jasper AI or any other AI system that is out there, you just ask it like, hey, you're going to be our social media director for the day. Help us create a strategy on this, and go back to those first three areas. Here's our audience. Here's the goal that we want to do, that we want to accomplish, and these are the challenges and obstacles that we face as well as our clients face. Type that in and let it run. I mean, there's going to be some fine tuning along the way, but let it run, and you'll be surprised at, honestly, the
Oh my gosh, it's
the things that
amazing
it comes up with.
out.
And especially the more you use it, like Andrea said, it's like it will learn your brand voice. It'll learn how to speak in your language. And it's such an amazing way to just do so much. Lawrence, you guys have incorporated some AI in your. What are some ways that you guys have optimized your AI for content, for anything in your marketing area?
You know, I can't speak to exactly what our marketing team
Sure.
does, but I can only imagine that for my own self, like when I'm thinking about, you know, what could I post about, what could I talk about? Sometimes getting some of the best ideas is just asking it online. You know, asking what are some good. Here's an event I'm going to. What are some cool taglines or some good slogans? Any of that type of stuff. I'm a big fan, by the way, we're talking about some of this, is scheduling posts also.
Yeah.
And LinkedIn has that. You can schedule that on a certain day and time. It's going to post that for you automatically. I don't even have to physically post it at that time. I can schedule it. So there's lots of different things like that, I think, that help with being able to do that. And I just think it's important to have a strategy as a firm to be able to make sure you've got a content strategy, because as the title of this is, content, everybody's pushing content. So if you're not pushing content, you're going to get left behind, and while everybody else is out there pushing their brand and whatever the story is that they're trying to push.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're not the one telling your story, who is? Right? If you're not telling your story online, who is? And the thing is, what's great about the new digital era, everybody's on their phones, everybody's online. They are extensions of your marketing team. So creating content that is engaging and shareable, empower them to share your content. Empower them to tell your story and push it further. That's really, at the end of the day, that's what content is all about, is to telling your story, building your brand, and and creating some amazing, engaging ways for them to come to you. So empower people to share your content, empower them to tell your story, empower them to connect with you, to build that authenticity and trust because again, if you're not telling your story, who is?
Yeah, that's so good. I'd like to add another thing on AI. You can tell it to not sound like AI. So
Yeah.
I love to say, do
Great tip.
not sound like AI, because it will have those little rocket ships and everybody has the same emojis. And if we are brand storytelling, we cannot sound like everybody else. And another really good tip is there is great AI indicators out there. So look up on Google, AI indicator, put your content in there and have it do an AI detection, because this will help also with your blog posts, with your website content, with your email marketing. But you also want to ensure that your content isn't getting dinged because it has AI attached to it. So use that tool for reference.
Absolutely. Final tips. One final tip that I definitely have is going back to your blogs. If you want to find a starting point for video, one, I would always suggest bio videos for your attorneys. Definitely a big plus, because when you put it on your website, people will be able to see them, hear them, get to know them on a semi-personal level, even if it's a 2-minute video about who I am, what my practice area is, and what I can do for you as a client. But two, if you're still trying to figure out some topics, go to your blog page. Go back and look at your analytics of your blogs and take a look at your top 10, maybe even 20% of the most engaging and highly trafficked blogs, and recreate those into video and then repost them. That will just, again, we go back to evergreen content. Your blog sphere is filled with that kind of content. So I would suggest go in, take a look what the highest rated blogs that you have on your site, and recreate those into video. Lawrence, you got any final tips? Anything to say? Lenny, Larry, Lauren, whatever.
Hey, you would think that Alan's first day meeting me was today, right? I mean, it's
Yeah.
hilarious. But
Right.
I just go back to what I said earlier. I think you cannot be a business, period, in this day and age, not just a law firm, but a business that doesn't have a content strategy, because everybody has one. You're constantly getting blown up, whether it's an email or and then even when you click on these things right on in LinkedIn or Facebook or whatever, then next time you're on a website, all of a sudden you've got an ad about ABC that you've already kind of clicked on before, right? So
It
I mean,
knows.
it's just, you have to have a strategy. It's important for your growth, and also to make sure that your message is getting out there, and it's really important to do it.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for you guys coming on and joining us here on Lemonade. Content. I mean, you've got to push it 2025 and beyond. If you have any other additional questions, you could always reach out to any of us. You could reach out at lemonadeforlegal.com, also Vibe Media or the new vibe.com. To talk to me about video content, strategy, anything else.